All 4 players start by taking turns putting a land onto the field. John plays an island, Tom plays a tapped Fellmire, Extra plays a mountain, and Sam plays a tapped Valgavoth lair on green, passing the turn, with John casting a Visions of Beyond before going to his turn. John makes a repeat of turn 1, playing an island, and passing with his mana open. Tom plays a mountain, then ramps a bit with an Arcane Signet. After that, he passes. Extra plays a Battlefield Forge, and casts a Skrelv's Hive, paying 1 life for Battlefield Forge. Sam plays a Vault of Whispers, followed by a Sanctum Weaver, before giving the turn back to John. John plays his 3rd island, then casts his commander, the Mindskinner. Once in play, he passes. Tom plays a Sulphurous Spring, and also casts his commander, Valgavoth, Harrower of Souls, before passing to Extra. On Extra's upkeep, Hive triggers, losing 1 life and making a Might, which also triggers Valgavoth to gain a counter and draw. He casts a Loyal Warhound, paying 1 life, and uses his effect to find the tapped plains. He then plays another plains, and it gives the turn to Sam. Sam first bestows Springheart Nantuko onto his Weaver, then plays a Darksteel Citadel, triggering Nantuko to make a copy. He then ends the turn with a Destiny Spinner, and a pass back to John. John plays another island, followed by Irenicus's Vile Duplication on Mindskinner. He goes to combat, and sends his commander at Sam, using his effect to make him mill 10. After the effect resolves, he passes. Tom plays a Shivan Gorge, then casts a duo of Blood Artist and Spell Shock. Next he attacks Sam with Valgavoth, before passing the turn to Extra. On Extra's upkeep, Hive triggers, losing 1 life and making a Might, again triggering Valgavoth to gain a counter and draw. He plays a mountain, and casts a Professional Facebreaker, triggering Spell Shock to deal him 2 damage, followed by Reconnaissance, once again triggering Spell Shock to deal 2. He then goes to combat, sending his Might at John, and Warhound at Tom. This triggers Facebreaker to make 2 treasures, after which, Extra gives the turn to Sam. Sam first casts his commander, Rendmaw, Creaking Nest, triggering his effect to give each player a bird, Spell Shock to deal 2, and Valgavoth to gain a counter plus draw. Next he casts a Courser of Crufix, again triggering Rendmaw and Spell Shock, followed by a tapped Scene of the Crime, this time triggering Rendmaw, Nantuko to make a copy, and Courser to gain 1. Finally, he casts both a Golgari's Signet and Baba Zaga, Night Witch, triggering Spell Shock each time to take a total of 4 damage, before passing back to John. John plays an island, then casts Bruva, the Grandiloquent, triggering Spell Shock and Valgavoth. Once in play, he sends both his Mindskinners at Sam and the 3 birds at Tom, making both players mill 40 and 12 cards respectively. After that, he passes. Tom plays a mountain, and immediately goes to combat, attacking John with 3 birds, and Extra with Valgavoth. In his second main, he casts Chandra, Awakened Inferno, triggering Spell Shock, then uses her -3 to deal 3 to each creature. In response, John casts Reality Shift on Artist, triggering Spell Shock, and making sure the damage is under control. Once the board is taken care of, Tom passes the turn. On Extra's upkeep, Hive triggers, losing 1 life, making a Might, and triggering Valgavoth. He then sets up with a duo of Anointed Possession, and his commander, Arabella, Abandoned Doll, taking a total of 4 damage thanks to Spell Shock. Having everything in place, he gives the turn to Sam. Sam first casts an Arcane Signet, triggering Spell Shock and Valgavoth, and follows up with a Tarmogoyf's Nest on Darksteel Citadel, triggering Rendmaw to make some birds and Spell Shock. Sam then ends the turn with an attack with Rendmaw, taking down Chandra. John first casts Solemn Simulacrum, triggering Spell Shock, Valgavoth, and Solemn to get an island. He then attacks Tom with his bird and Bruvok, and passes the turn. Tom plays a mountain, then casts both Seismic Assault and Molten Collapse on Rendmaw, triggering Spell Shock 2 times. Afterwards, he sends Valgavoth at Extra and his bird at John, before passing the turn to Extra. On Extra's upkeep, Hive triggers, losing 1 life, making 2 mites, and triggering Valgavoth. He first casts 4th Aerolingus for X equals 4, taking 2 for a Spell Shock. He tries to go to combat, but is stopped by Tom and his 2 Seismic Assault activations on Arabella, making sure to keep his life total above 0. Extra then proceeds to combat, sending 7 knights, a mite, and 2 birds at Tom. Once the damage is dealt, he passes. Sam plays a forest from the top of his deck, triggering Courser to gain 1, and Nantuko to make an insect. Next, he impendings his Overlord of the Balemurk, triggering his effect to return Gloomshrieker, which he then casts, returning and casting Haywire Might. After all that, he sends his bird, Courser, and Nantuko at Tom, and gives the turn back to John. John starts his turn by sending all his creatures at Tom, trying to take him out alongside his Seismic Assault. In response, Tom uses said assault to get rid of a bird, barely surviving at 1 life. With everything set up, John kicks his maddening cacophony, presenting a win to the table. With the spell still on the stack, Spell Shock and Valgavoth both trigger, giving Tom an opportunity to find a way out. Unfortunately, he has no lands left to take care of Bruvok, which leaves all of John's opponents with an empty library, and John with the win.